What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It is the only sports podcast. That's right, the only sports podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. How we doing today, Casino?
Been a long day for me. Pretty sick, not feeling great. Kids are sick. They got appointments coming up. Well, one has an appointment. The other one we already know is sick and he's already on stuff. Yeah, I drove around all town this morning, possibly having to get my dog's eye removed because it ruptured. Luckily, the eye specialist that they've seen before is like, yeah, I could probably save this with the graft and whatnot. So he has surgery coming up. So been a long morning. I will be here talking to you with all my soft tones and my easy talking. I'm sick. Um, I do have a limited show. I don't know if he's going to stay on longer, but I will because I have to go to an appointment for myself now that I had to cancel this morning because of my dog. But besides that, how are you doing?
I mean, all of what you just said is bad, but none of it compares to what happened to my Eagles yesterday.
Yeah,
I
they're
take
so
everything you said over what happened to the Eagles yesterday. It was, uh, those are those are the worst games that I hate where it's just the slow, like when it was 21-0 at halftime, I was on Twitter and I was seeing a bunch of people talking shit, and there was a part of me where I was just like, I've seen this game before. I was like, this is I'm not saying a word. And then all of a sudden it started slowly coming back, and I was just like, yep, like saw this coming from a fucking mile away. Which also, speaking of, we apparently saw everything coming this weekend because you and I got every game right this week except for Bills Texans. That's the only game we got wrong
that's funny.
because in the two games that we picked different, you picked the Chiefs over the Colts, I picked the Colts, and then I picked the Cowboys over the Eagles. So every single game except the Bills Texans game, you and I picked correctly. That's
Wait, you
crazy.
picked the Colts, I picked the Chiefs, right?
Yes, and then I picked the Cowboys, you picked the Eagles. So, uh, yeah, and I'll tell you what, we will go almost a perfect week if Panthers win tonight, which I mean is a huge,
Yeah.
what if, but if they do, I mean, we nailed it. We nailed it. So we're still,
We're
I
good.
mean, there's no change this week. You're still 2 games ahead because regardless if the Panthers win tonight or not, unless it's the best game, you would get a point for best game, which honestly, this weekend, this was a weird weekend in sports. Sports,
Yeah, I did not expect
football.
a blowout with the Rams. I knew the Rams were gonna win, but I didn't expect them to rattle. But then again, the Bucks, they were all sick, right? They all had the flu. Now Baker's out for a good while with that arm injury that did not look good, him on the sling. But
No. Also, how he got that was just like him. It looked like he threw his shoulder out.
yeah,
Like
and
it
those are
looked,
the
he didn't
worst
get
kind, right?
hit.
And it's the
Yeah, the
non-contact ones that
non-contact.
that that are the worst ones. Yeah, I mean, this week it was rough for me. Yeah, I know that the Patriots won. I wish the Chiefs would have lost, but the Jags won, which made me happy. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, you and I we talked about this because you're like, oh, the only teams that are going to be able to stop the Chiefs from winning the Super Bowl are the Colts and the Broncos. And I was like, what about my Patriots? And you're like, they barely beat Cincy. Yeah, well, if you watch that game, like every series, we lost another starter to one another starter, and pretty much our entire offensive line is going to be new going into the next game.
Yeah.
Like the whole left side is done, and then to get a couple people from the right, like it is that whole offensive line. This next guy up situation. Yeah, they
Actually,
got they got
let's
they got worked.
now that you're saying that, let's actually look at the playoff picture. We've been doing this. This is from NFL.com. It shows the
What?
current playoff percentage of playoff probability. Your Patriots, congrats, number one in the NFC, or I'm sorry, in the AFC right now. Rams number one in the NFC, with a huge game coming up on Black Friday where the Eagles and the Bears play in Philadelphia for second place in the NFC, depending on what the Rams do. I don't know, I'm assuming the Rams would have the advantage over the Bears if they had the same record. I do, obviously the Eagles beat the
I think
Rams,
it comes down
so
to conference wins.
Yeah, so I think the Rams would have the number 1 seed unless the Eagles finish with the same record as the Rams, which again is very possible because the Eagles, they have 2 more weeks where they have bad or they have good teams, and then the rest of their season they're playing bums. So they've got through the
The
murderers
bums like the Cowboys.
well, no, I said at the beginning of the season, I say this every year. Every year the Eagles and Cowboys split. Like yesterday's game, I know online people what is it? Cowboys fans are freaking out, Eagles fans are freaking out. I was mad at how that game went, but at the end of it I was like I called this 3 months ago, 4 months ago. That was the most obvious playing in Dallas, Cowboys are going to win game of all time. And wait, actually, speaking of Dallas, so after that game, the Eagles still have a 99% playoff probability. So now let's check Dallas. Oh man, I'm scrolling down here really far. After that win, they are currently at 10%.
Went
So
up.
yeah. So I believe they were 7, 8% since last time we did it. So, which I think was 2 shows ago. So they are 10th in position for the playoffs. So sometimes when people say, oh, that game was your Super Bowl, it legitimately was their Super Bowl.
What's the
There
Raven
is
or what's, the Chiefs at?
so let's start with the AFC before we dive into the NFC casino. So your Patriots are first. There's 99% chance obviously they make the playoffs. For the first seed, they're going to be battling pretty much the Broncos at this point. I don't see the Patriots losing 2 games and the Colts just winning out. But Colts are third at 8-3. They got an 86%. Broncos have a 97. Ravens now at the top of the AFC North, which is just insane. They now have an 80% chance to make the playoffs. Again, they started the season 1-5. That is insane.
Oh,
Fifth,
man. The
and
Steelers
then we
doing
get
Steelers things. Mm.
now we get to the 3 wild card spots. And the interesting thing about the wild card spots in the AFC right now is it's 7-4 Chargers, 7-4 Jaguars, 7-4 Bills, and the Chargers, currently the 5th seed, have the lowest playoff probability of those 3.
Yeah, because they're
So
saying the Chiefs are gonna pass them.
well, I'm also assuming their schedule is probably a murderer's row compared to what the Bills and Jags have coming up. But the biggest irony in the maybe history of the NFL might be if the Bills end up just collapsing and they end up giving the last playoff spot, the AFC, to the Chiefs.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
that would be the official last way the Bills could or the Chiefs could screw over the Bills. They've
Yeah.
done it every other way. That could be the last
That's a
possible
really
way.
funny point, but yeah, that could be the case.
And then we get to so pretty much in both conferences, once you get to the 11th spot, everybody's out. As far as the 10th spot go, we talked about the Cowboys. They have a 10% chance at 10. The Chiefs, their playoff probability is 54%. So a little bit over
Well, so
half.
here's the thing. I know they just got their victory right against the Colts, and everybody was just like, "Oh man, yeah, the Chiefs." But okay, that was in Arrowhead, first off,
Mhm.
and secondly, the Chiefs or the Colts haven't looked too great as of late, and you had to win it in overtime, and you had to come back. Like, and then we won't even get into the refs. Just plug and place. We already know that shit. But that aside, I I don't like the Chiefs just don't look good. I would take the Broncos over them every day. I would even take my Patriots over them. I mean, we'll see what the Patriots do next week. They are pretty, like I said, they're pretty banged up. They lost like 6 starters in this game. One came back, so I think 5 starters they lost. And yeah, like Will Campbell, he's out. Like they carted him off. He had
Mhm.
a like it's so sad because he progressed from week 1, 2, like week 1, 2, and 3 were not so great, but when he settled in 4 on, he's been stellar. So we do have against the Giants coming up before we hit the bye. We being the Patriots. I'm nervous about that game because the Giants front is at least good, right? And they can get to the quarterback. That I'm worried that with how depleted after this game the Patriots are on that front line, that offensive line, that the Giants are going to be able to get to them. And I feel like
Well,
this game is trap game written
uh
all over it going into the bye.
Well, also, when it comes to the Giants, I thought Brian Daboll was this super big offensive genius. So how come the best quarterback on his team was the third string quarterback? How did that happen? How come all of a sudden he gets fired and immediately their offense clicks into place when they're playing with
That's funny.
basically the third string at every position? I thought he was an offensive genius and the Giants were dumb for firing him after he went 2-7
I
5 years
mean,
in a row.
yeah, they took the Lions to OT this week, right? And so let's get into that game, I guess, a little bit. That game was great. Thank you, Jamar Gibbs. You single-handedly won me my fantasy league. Put thank you. Oh my god, dude, like, I just kept getting, like, the team notifications, right, on the app, and it was just like, "Jamar Gibbs, 70-yard touchdown. Jamar Gibbs, 80-yard touchdown." I'm like, "This is great. This is great."
I'll tell you what, the one who screwed me over was your tight end for the Patriots. Got
Henry,
30
he
points when he was projected to get
so
8.
yeah,
Just
Drake
annihilated me.
I don't know why they project him at 8 because Drake May utilizes his tight ends so much,
Yeah.
like, and it goes back to, Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels likes utilizing tight ends a lot in his passing game, so
I just in order to win my game this week, I need what is it? I need Tedero McMillan for the Panthers and Christian McCaffrey to both get 36 points. If they both get 36 points, I win. So I'm not counting on that, but again,
it
they
could happen.
only need 36 points. If I or some combination of where it averages out to 36 points.
Yeah,
But
and
in this Lions Giants game, again, I was remaking because Casino, what is it? We had to start late today, so I was just sitting at the computer and I
sorry.
was like, you know what I should do? I should just re-up the Super Bowl bubble. I literally made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I put 14 teams in the Super Bowl bubble. Now, obviously not in the big bubble in the middle, but on the outside, I was like, you can literally justify these 14 teams being Super Bowl contenders. One of the
Yeah, because all
teams,
you have to do is win a game at a time, man.
well, that's what I'm saying. And one of those teams where I was like, are they a Super Bowl contender anymore? Was the Lions. Like,
Mhm.
what is going on with this Lions team? Again, they played what is it against the Eagles, couldn't score more than 10 points. Then they play the Giants the very next week and they give up 27 points. They're going to OT. If one or two plays in OT goes different, because that game was before the Eagles game. So I watched pretty much the whole second half of that game because it was on the feed that the Eagles game was supposed to be on. So saw the whole third, fourth, overtime, all that kind of stuff. And again, Giants, they were one or two plays in that game away from not only winning, but I honestly think if they would have scored in OT, they would have gone for two. I think, or no, they wouldn't have needed to because it was 30. No, yes, they would have. I think they would have gone for two because why not? But Jameis Winston had that great touchdown catch, flea flicker, swing pass to the wide receiver where he also broke a tackle downfield. And again, Jameis Winston, 18 for 36, 366, two touchdowns, one interception. I get why you started Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart had great moments. He was electric in all the games he started. It's sad he's injured this season. Why in the blow hell casino, in the color of the New York Giants blue hell, what did Russell Wilson ever show in any game he started or in practice that would make any New York Giants coach, fan, whatever, think that he was a better quarterback right now than Jameis Winston?
I have no idea. I would
What
pick
did
Jameis Winston all day. I know Jameis
he was
Winston isn't
great.
perfect, but I mean, yeah, he only went 50% on his completion, rating, but 366, 2 touchdowns, he averages 10 yards. He moved the football, right? He moved the
Yeah.
football.
Like, effortlessly. And
Yeah.
again, the Giants, all their running backs, all their wide receivers are hurt. He's literally throwing to practice squad guys, to third, fourth string guys, running backs who you've never heard of. Like, it's
Yeah,
just shout out to
like
Jameis Winston.
Wan'Dale Robinson. I've kind of heard the name, but I'm not like, "Ah, yeah, that guy." But he put up 156 yards, dude.
And on 14 targets, then you had Theo Johnson, you had Isaiah Hodgins, you had Jameis Winston catching one pass, 33 yards, one touchdown. You had Darius Slayton.
Which was
Like,
a, you know what? Was a great throw by, Gunner. Gunner, that was
dude,
great. It was
not
good.
only was that a
For
great
33
throw,
yards.
yeah, that was a great catch. It was a great run. It was a great like break tackle. That was fantastic. But let's move to the Sunday night game. Or actually, wait, let's go back to this playoff thing. So when we're talking Steelers, Texans, Chiefs casino, if you had to pick one of them to slide in one of these last spots, because I think when it comes to it, I think the Chargers are going to
Chargers
be
is
the
a
odd man out.
I think Chargers are gonna be the odd man out. If they could beat the Chiefs again when they come back head to head, then the Chargers are in. Then the
Yeah.
Chargers are in.
Well, because
Obviously,
also
they got other games still to win, but that's,
the
gonna be a
last
huge game.
6 games, I can't believe there's only 6 weeks left of the season, but the last 6 games for the Chargers, they have the Raiders next week, which should be an obvious win, and then after that, they have Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, Broncos. That is a murderer's row of
I mean,
5 games
Cowboys
back.
and Texans are the only 2 that are like, "Yeah, possibly."
Yeah, and, but
But again,
again,
they
if
just got absolutely smoked last week, so
well,
we'll
that's what I'm
see.
saying, they got killed by the Jaguars, like, the
But again,
Texans
I
with
think
what
we're
they did to
sleeping
the
on the Jags a
Bills.
little bit, and when I say sleeping on the Jags is we're taking a nap, just a nap, a slight little nap. They're not great, but people are just writing them off, and I think that's fueling them enough to get them where they need to be. But you're right, Bills need to worry, right? Bills, they need to figure that shit out bad.
Let's see what the Bills I know the Bills play the Eagles, I know they play the Patriots
Patriots one more
again.
time.
Uh, so the Bills, play the Steelers, the Bengals, the Patriots, the Browns, the Eagles, the Jets. They should 100% win, probably against the Steelers, probably against the Bengals, probably against the Browns. It's a toss up between our 2 teams, and then they should annihilate the Jets. So right there, they should go.
You know what's really nice? It's just looking at the league and Patriots are at the top at 10-2. It's really nice. I mean, the late bye week, I was kinda happy about that, but as long as we got through unscathed, which we have not, ugh.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that, you know, all these injuries aren't too major and we get some of our pieces back.
I know why.
Especially like Williams, we had to put him on IR, so, we won't get him till playoff time just about, if he comes back, so we'll see.
Yeah. I will say, I know why they don't do it, but I would love, because obviously they're gonna miss money and all that kind of stuff. I would just love if they just had where it was like, "Okay, you know what? Week 10 every year, we just have the bye weeks." Like, we just have 1 week where everybody gets the same bye, and then we kinda just go from there. Obviously, we know why they won't do it because money and all that kind of stuff, but I actually hate how the buys factor into everything where it's like, what, the buys start in week 4? So it's like some teams get week 4 buys, some teams get week 14 buys. That just seems like such a weird what is it? Like a weird advantage and
Mhm,
disadvantage that is just totally up in the air. Like like again, most teams win the Super Bowl. The Eagles last year won the Super Bowl mostly due to the fact that they were the healthiest team at the end of the year. Like
mhm,
that, if I feel like if you went back the past, what, 20 years, maybe longer, and just looked at every team, it was just like, oh yeah, they were actually one of the healthiest. Like that's pretty much why they made the Super Bowl or playoffs or all that kind of stuff. So, but again, the NFL doesn't care about player safety. So
no,
that's
they
a
don't.
yeah. But let's just start jumping through these games, Casino. Let's start with Sunday night and we'll go backwards. We'll do the playoff thing on Wednesday or Friday. We'll deep dive more into that, but we just want to give a flavor of, because we were talking about Chiefs Colts, which we'll talk about in a minute. Rams last night win 34-7 in a game that almost immediately you could tell, oh, Rams are clearly the best team in the league right now. As an Eagles fan, I know we beat them, but again, that was That was a long time ago, it feels like. So, Rams clearly best team in the league. Matthew Stafford clearly is going to be the MVP of this league unless he gets hurt or just completely
No, he looked
collapses,
so good
which
last night.
yeah, he was great last night. He's been great all season. I think he has 30 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the season. That's insane. That's an insane number. But Rams win 34-7 against the Bucks. The right now currently the Panthers are number 1 in the NFC South because obviously they play tonight. But if Panthers win tonight, which both you and I have picked in an upset, they are number 1 in the NFC South, which is
Let's go.
insane.
Let's
Uh,
go.
but Bucks, it's really just been they can't stay healthy. They lost
Mm-mm.
their starting running back. They've lost their 2 starting
And they legitimately can't stay healthy. Like, again, this was the flu game. Apparently, half their squad had the flu going into this game playing.
yeah. And what
That
I
sounded
did
like what I'm sounding like right now. You know who it sounded like right now? Patrick Mahomes.
I think also, what is it? Last night they did have
No.
the flu, which I felt, some I felt some cohesion with them because what I saw them do on the field did make me sick because it just showed that the Rams are. Did you see when that, how they always have mentalists come and do, like freak out teams and team meetings or whatever? At the start of the season, did you see that mentalist, like the famous one who does all the NFL locker rooms or whatever? He was in the Rams locker room and he said, "So is it just me or am I seeing you guys versus the Broncos in the Super Bowl?" He said that in the preseason. Is it again? If I'm a football oracle, but even I have to say that's kind of creepy and it's kind of impressive that he
Yeah.
said Rams Broncos, and right now that is probably the second or third highest, most likely
I
like
think it is
Super
the
Bowl
highest
matchup.
matchup.
Well, I mean, over your Patriots. What if it's Patriots Rams again, and we get a redo of that
Oh, we're
god
gonna get
awful Super
absolutely
Bowl?
slaughtered. The Rams
uh,
are so good, dude. The
yeah.
Rams are so good.
Well, also Rams again, the Rams have no running game. They've never really had a running game. I feel like the whole Sean McVay Rams era, he just doesn't care about the running game. He's just like, listen, we're just going to get a really good quarterback, really good schemes, two good wide receivers, and we're just going to chuck it. We're just going to, what is it? We're just going to use the pass to set up the pass. They don't even attempt the run. They attempted 19 attempts last night for 70 yards, but Nakua had 11 targets, 97 yards. Devontae Adams had 62 catches. Parkinson had 4 catches for 41 yards. I don't know, man. Just the Rams are so good. And then the Bucks on the other side, again, it's all injuries, even without the flu, just the ones that are out. Chris Godwin was back from missing pretty much the entire season with an injury. He only caught 2 balls for 9 yards. He looked rusty out there. It just looked like he not missed a step, but again, the guy is out with an injury. What is he? You don't expect him to come back and all of a sudden he's, going for 500 yards, but yeah, Abuka also didn't show up last night. Again, just because that Rams defense, it's good. It's really good. And again, I think you can put what 5 teams on this pedestal where it's just they have really elite defenses and everybody else is kind of just jockeying for position in the middle. I think the 5 you would have to do would probably be Texans, Browns, Broncos, maybe Seahawks, and I would have said Eagles before yesterday's game, but now everybody on the Eagles defense is hurt. So who knows? But yeah, the Rams right now, currently in terms of total defense, are 13th in the league. I'm sure that number is going to boost up dramatically after that performance last night. But while Casito is away, let's switch to another game that I wanted to talk about. I'll save my thoughts on the Eagles Cowboys game for when Casino has to leave. But let's talk about those Seattle Seahawks we just mentioned winning 30-24 against the Tennessee Titans. Now, this looked like we picked this as our blowout of the week, or Casino picked this as his blowout of the week. It looked like it was going that way, a la the Cardinals games, where the Seahawks just got that early lead and then just started piling on. And then all of a sudden, this game is 16-3 going into halftime. Outside of halftime, the Titans come out, immediately score 14 points. And then it was like, what's going on here? And Cam Ward is like flipping into the end zone and doing all this what is it? Actual quarterback play we haven't seen all season, where he goes 28 for 42, 256, 66% completion percentage, one touchdown, has a quarterback rating of 91, has that great rushing touchdown. And then
Oh,
it's
that
all
was
like,
delightful.
where has this Cam Ward been?
Yeah, I
Again,
think it
against
kinda, like, took the Seahawks by surprise because the Seahawks when I was watching that early on, I'm like, "Oh, yeah." Like, that was
It's
my
going to be a
blowout of the
repeat of
week.
the Cardinals game.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
"This is a." I was like, "Okay," I thought they would score more by now, especially that defense, maybe getting a couple points. And I was like, "Seahawks handily got this." And then all of a sudden, I just kept seeing, like, up in the corner, because they weren't really showing that much on the red zone, because all the other big games, and I just see that up there, and I'm like, "What's going on here?" And that doesn't make me worried for the Seahawks at all. I just think the Titans something clicked.
Oh, and this is from OFP Jinja Ninja, great name. I agree the healthiest team is usually the best team in the end. My
Yeah.
Colts let me down. Oh yeah, we're about to talk about the Colts in a
Oof.
second. So that was they let everybody down. They let the nation down. And
Oh, yeah.
Card Gang
I don't
says
know
we
if
need
I'll
to
ever
talk
recover from that.
Bears Steelers game. But yeah, outside, let's finish talking about this one. We'll move to
No,
actually
Sam
no.
Darn yeah, we'll just move over. I got
Yeah,
I got I gotta leave here shortly, so
we're usually we have much more time. Today it's a shortened show,
I'm on a
so we're
time
trying
constraint.
to
We're
pack
lucky I
it
was
in.
able to even get this done.
So we'll do Colts Chiefs first, then we'll talk about Bears Steelers because those are the two ones in the chat that they want us to talk about.
Oh, yeah, let's get it.
So Chiefs win 23 to
Ugh,
20 in a game I was rooting for the Colts in this game like it was my own team.
everybody
Every
was.
every play felt like it was just backbreaking. But again, I think the silver lining of this game is it was in Arrowhead. It was a 3-point game. It went into OT, and the Chiefs needed 11 points in the fourth quarter and basically everything to go their way in the last quarter of football to avoid A being blown out, B pretty much being we agreed they lose this game, they're out of the playoffs. Like
Yeah,
this was they again, they're still 54%. So if they would have lost this game, I think it dropped down to 30%. So
and
this
that's being generous, right, to them.
yeah.
Yeah, what was crazy, though, is my stat line is the total amount of plays. So the Chiefs ran 91 plays, the Colts ran 50 plays. It was I'm about to sneeze. Woo. Sorry, everybody.
Bless you.
494 yards total offense for the Chiefs and only 255 for the Colts. And that's just insane, right? The
Yeah.
Chiefs should have 100%. Time of possession 25, 25 and a half to 20, 42 and a half. That is just insane amount of time of possession and the Chiefs barely squeak it out. I just don't have confidence in this Chiefs team. Like, even if say they make the playoffs, I feel like any of those playoff teams that make the Chiefs will stumble against one of them, and say they, God forbid, they make it to the goddamn Super Bowl, they will not beat they will not beat whoever comes out of the NFC. It just
No.
will not happen.
Please, dear Lord, football gods, let us avoid a Chiefs Rams Super Bowl. So the talk for the 2 weeks is, hey, remember that Monday night game they had 4 years ago? That was awesome. That's all the talk's going to be. And it was just like, yeah, that was awesome. But also, that was Jared Goff. It was two completely different teams. Like, it's just,
I
I
mean, that was
just
a really good
know.
that
It
was a really
was
good game.
good, but also I don't want to have 2 weeks of every single commentator just being like, this is going to be a repeat of that game. Like, no, it isn't. This Chiefs team, dare I say, again, my Eagles team, when they play offense, is boring to watch. I say that as a fan. The Chiefs offense right now is boring as shit to watch.
Mhm.
They are so, what is it? It's just not
Well,
entertaining.
and the amount of times that Mahomes is missing players, like he overthrew and underthrew like crazy. You saw Travis Kelsey physically just not happy with Mahomes on like two
Well,
of them
he
that
hasn't been
were
happy this
thrown.
entire season. He
Well, yeah, I
throws
mean,
a hissy fit every other game now. It's
yeah,
weird. It's
yeah.
weird. Also, what is it? Card Gang said, "This is my first time ever seeing this, but I have to pop in often. What time do you stream normally?" Always Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. West Coast time.
Mhm.
So we're in,
Pacific, yep.
yeah, we're in Vegas. So there you go.
Yeah.
But also, uh, he
Barring I
said,
mean, we both have young kids and, so barring something that happens, like today, I was almost not able to make it, and the show is not gonna probably happen, but we
yeah.
did our best. It'll be probably a shortened show, but yeah, we
Well, he
we
also
we
said
aim for those.
they used to be fun to watch, now it's boring talking about the Chiefs, and yeah, again, yesterday also, how they won this game was Kareem Hunt got the ball 30 times, 104 yards, and a touchdown, which looks good on paper. He was only averaging 3 yards a carry. So
Yeah,
it's
and
not like
they had the time of possession. Remember what I said going into this game? The Colts had to do what? Keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands,
yeah.
and they did not. The Chiefs had so much 17 minutes higher on time of possession, for the whole game. That's the fact that you were even still in this game is mind-blowing.
Well, also, the thing we do always have to give credit to Spagnola and especially this Chiefs team is they have never, ever been a team that gets beat in the run game. So, Jonathan Taylor, again, every time Saquon Barkley has played him, every time a big running back like Derrick Henry or somebody who's just going off plays the Chiefs, always. It never like, oh, sometimes blah blah. Every single time they completely shut down the run game and just go, you're gonna have to beat us another way. Now, especially this season and last year, obviously in the Super Bowl, they do get beat in the passing game. But my issue and my fear when it comes to the Colts being a legit Super Bowl contender is we see if Jonathan Taylor gets shut down, this offense, again, when you make it one dimensional, then it becomes a thing where it goes, can this team hang with quote unquote the big boys and the playoff contenders? Because again, when you have these teams that are so centered around one way to do football, when you stop them from doing that and make them one dimensional, then you kind of see yesterday where it's just like, not only are they not scoring points, they're kind of not even being able to move the chains. Like
Yeah,
they
I
can't
I
get
mean,
anything
even
going.
even though Daniel Jones was efficient, right? Like he protected the football, right? 2 touchdowns through the air, no interceptions. He had 181 yards. But you're right, 19 for 31. He wasn't able to get the ball moving as much as he
Mhm.
needed to. They couldn't stay on the field as much as they needed to keep the ball out of the Chiefs' hands. Um,
And again, this is against a Chiefs defense that is good, but they're 11th in the league right now. And again, we've seen, or no, I'm sorry, that's just in passing offense. The Chiefs right now are 7th in the league in total defense, but
yeah,
nothing they've really done this season has made you feel like they have an elite defense. Obviously, you have elite players on that defense, but as a unit itself, you've never watched the games where you like see the what the Rams did last night or what the Seahawks have been doing or even what the Eagles did, against the Lions and Packers,
mhm.
where they just shut offenses down. You never kind of feel like that with the Chiefs defense this year.
Right.
So
I mean, I did get
again,
one thing right
weird
about this
game.
game though is so in a parlay with my Patriot group chat, my pick was Rasheed Rice was going to get a anytime touchdown, and he almost had it. But yeah, 141 yards off of 8 receptions. Good for him. I the Colts, that's one of their big weaknesses is that slot receiver, right?
Mhm.
And they were having trouble with that all game. Rasheed Rice, I was right. I just didn't get the touchdown. And honestly, it should have been a touchdown. It was a bad throw by Mahomes. Did you see that
Well,
one that was in that corner?
Well,
But
also, again, Rashid Rice is the best wide receiver on the Chiefs, but again, when he is just not involved in the game plan, you have Worthy and Kelsey, who Kelsey, obviously, he's older. He just looks like he's lost a step. He just has maybe one good game a month, right?
yeah,
You feel like every 4 games he'll go off. Xavier Worthy, I've never seen a player that is either boom or bust as much as him in terms of like everybody was talking about him when he was on the Chiefs, or it was just like even last year in the Super Bowl where they were getting blown out and he still, was catching all those bombs late in the game. It was like, oh man, Xavier Worthy is going to be the next big threat on this team. And he either gets 150 yards on 5 receptions a game, or he does what he did yesterday, which
Yeah.
is
I mean, for
4
my fantasy,
receptions,
I picked him up as
59.
my wide receiver 2 or possibly even a flex.
Yeah, and he's just always not there.
Yeah,
Let's move over
he's been
to the
riding the
other
bench for a
game.
while.
But again, Chiefs 53% to make the playoffs. Colts, again, Colts also you have to look at and just be like, now they're a game ahead, game and a half, 2 games ahead. Jacksonville, who's been coming on, Houston Texans, who have been coming on. We might be getting 3 AFC South teams in the AFC side of the playoffs, and who no one would have predicted that. No
Yeah.
one. No one.
Just giving you a heads up. So I did get my message to head to the doctor soon. I could estimated time. I see. I got about 5 minutes. Is there another specific game you want to talk before I do have to get out of here?
Yeah. So last one we'll do is, and then I'll do solo to finish it out. Chicago Bears win 31-28
The
against the
Bears.
Pittsburgh Steelers. The Bears now, again, how we were showing earlier, the Bears are second in the league right now in terms of seeding in if the playoffs started today, they'd be the second seed, which is wild. Or no, I'm
Let's
sorry, they'd be
go.
the third seed. They can be the second seed if they beat the Eagles this Friday. But the weird thing is, everybody in the NFC North is within a game of each other. So right now, the Lions and Packers both currently have a higher chance to make the playoffs than the Bears,
Which
with both the Packers and Lions are at 78 and 76%. The Bears are at 62%.
I have no idea. I mean, I get it. I get it, but I don't get that because the the Packers, they don't have an identity. I mean, Colin is a broken record. He says that like 24/7. Packers have no identity. Packers have no idea. But I agree with him. Um, and the Bears do. We know what the Bears are. They got a great defense. I mean, their
Number one in
turnover
the league in takeaways.
yeah,
Yep.
their turnover differential is phenomenal, and we saw spurts of that last year, right? With all those interceptions that they kept having, it was they just couldn't score any points, right? They could keep teams low, but they couldn't score points. Well, it took the defense a little time to kind of get going. This year, they've gotten going. I'm really happy for them. And they have God on their side. So what can you say? And the whole Caleb Williams again. I've had a couple Bears fans on this show message and whatnot about me saying that the Caleb Williams and the Ben Johnson thing doesn't work. It didn't work at first. It did not. It looked bad, right? Caleb is an ad libber. Ben Johnson is very structured. He's got amazing offensive mind, but things are working. They started figuring out. I I didn't like Caleb last year, obviously.
No.
I've talked about it this year. I'm not a big fan of him, but I will give him credit. He he seems teachable, right? He's willing to learn, it looks
Yeah.
like, and he wants to learn. You can see that from last year to this year about his sacks. He's getting rid of the ball. That's a huge one, right? That's a huge one
Mhm.
of knowing your pressure. Oh, what should I do with the ball? They're on me. Do I get rid of it? What do I do? And he's making better decisions there. So this team, he can't be taught. And as it goes on, I do think the Ben Johnson Caleb thing is working somehow. Somehow it's working, and they're finding enough to get it done, and that makes this team dangerous. I'm not saying this team's going to go off and win the Super Bowl, but you've got to pay attention to this team. Ben Johnson can find
Yeah.
ways to score on you, and this defense will stop you, and almost make you turn over the ball over multiple times a game.
I'm
So
going,
good for the Bears. And next week, I I'm on the fence, man. I might take the Bears with how your team team's offense is sputtering, right?
yeah.
That I that's gonna be one I'm gonna have to look at. That might
Well, I'll tell you what is it? I'm leaving on Wednesday to go on like a week and a half, 2-week vacation. I'm going to spend Thanksgiving with all my family that's from Chicago.
mm,
So on what is it? And obviously I'm gonna be there for Friday. We're still gonna do the show. We're working all that stuff out. So
yeah.
don't
So
worry
for
about
the person
that.
who has when we're on the holidays, this thing might be a little different because then I'm out of town in for Christmas, but I'll be bringing my stuff. I have a
Yeah,
whole room at my
we're still
in-laws
doing
that
the
I can
show.
do this at. We'll
But
figure it out.
But when it comes to this Bears Eagles game that's coming up, yes, I am terrified that the Eagles are going to lose at home to the Bears. But also, I think the thing you look at with Caleb Williams is in this game, 19 for 35, 239. He had a 54% completion percentage. With him, I actually think that's good because that shows he's throwing the ball away. Which again, at USC, which in his rookie year, when he was playing with the Bears, he wouldn't get rid of the football. And he was just taking all these big losses on sacks, all these hits in the backfield, trying to run around, make something happen. Again, where you said he's teachable, I actually think that's good when you see his completion percentage
Oh, I would
lower
agree.
than what the league average is because he's throwing the ball away.
I mean, that's one
Like,
of my favorite things about my quarterback, Drake May, is like you watch him and he's like, "Oh, nothing there, out. Nothing there, out." Like he knows what that's it's very important to know not to take down not to take negative yards, right?
yeah,
And he's doing that, and I think that's what saved him this season so far. This 8-3 record, I think, really has to come down to them keeping themselves in good field position and not getting screwed over
yeah.
by their own negative yardage.
Well,
Um,
also, what is it? This Bears, the thing that's weird about this Bears team is this Bears offense is humming because they're fourth in the league in total offense. This Bears defense is 27th in the league in total defense, but they're number one in the league in turnover differential. So they don't turn the ball over on offense. They're a bend, don't break defense on the defensive side of the ball, but they're not a good defense. They're just really good at taking the ball away, which sometimes would you rather have the 15th what is it, best defense in the league, or would you rather have the 30th that is number one in takeaways?
yeah.
You're going to want to be 30th that's number one in takeaways 100 out of 100 times.
I'm
So
gonna see what my coworker who's the Bears fan, I'm gonna see what he's got going on. Maybe in the next couple weeks, maybe I try to get him on here just so you guys could talk shit about the game.
uh I don't I already told you, Casino. I don't talk shit at the during games. I only and afterwards I'm more relieved. I don't but
That's
again,
nice.
all
Well,
right,
I
got
gotta head on
anything?
out, guys. Sorry, it's a short day for me. I'm glad that I was able to get what 42 minutes in, 45 minutes in here. That made me
Yeah.
happy.
All right. We'll
Um,
see you on Wednesday show, Casino.
bye.
Adios. All right. So we're switching to oop, we're switching just to be let's finish out the rest of the games as we were just talking about right here. So tonight's game, Casino and I both have the Panthers over the 49ers. But let's go back to Thursday's game, which was the Houston Texans beating the Buffalo Bills. Really, the only thing I have to say about this game is that Texans defense is legit, legit. Currently, right now, through 11 weeks, it has not updated for this week. I don't think much is going to change for what they did on Thursday. They are the number one defense in the entire league. And boy, did it show on that Thursday game because they were all over Josh Allen. And again, every quarterback, every team has that one team or one other player they just can't seem to beat. For my Eagles, it was the Bucks for a couple years. It's always been the Seahawks. The Seahawks have always given my Eagles trouble, which is why I'm terrified to have the Seahawks Eagles be a matchup that is potential in the playoffs this year, especially with that Seahawks defense. But for Josh Allen, he is 1-5 in his career against the Texans. So whatever D'Amico Ryans and that Texans team is just dialing up, Josh Allen cannot handle it. He's 1-5 against them. Thursday night games have been weird this entire season. So not shocking at all that the Texans beat that game. If you go look at our shorts or our TikToks or whatever, or even last week's show where we were talking about that game, I was very hesitant to say that the Bills are going to win this game. That was almost my upset pick, but then I was like, no, they can't lose to the Dolphins and then lose to the Texans. Apparently they can. And now Bills and Eagles fans kind of weirdly having the same experience this season. But yeah, not shocking at all. Next up, the Baltimore Ravens won 23-10 against the New York Jets. We're going to speed through these just because it's just me. But in this game, again, I think my issue with this Baltimore Ravens team, yes, they've won their last 5 matchups after starting the season 1-5. So now they're 6-5 and leading the AFC North, which is insane. But the weird thing for me is that the Baltimore Ravens just don't look right on offense. Again, Lamar Jackson, 13 for 23, 153 yards, 56 completion percentage, one sack, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He is just not really running the ball as effectively as he did at the start of the season, which is kind of messing up his passing because, again, the Ravens have always been one of those teams that uses the run to set up the pass. But not only do they not set up the pass well, but even their rushing attack is not as efficient or really as good, not even nearly as good as it was last year. And that's both from a Derrick Henry perspective and a Lamar Jackson perspective. Again, Derrick Henry last week or last game, 21 attempts, 64 yards, two touchdowns. He was only averaging 3 yards a carry. That is against a Quentin Williams less Jets team. That's against a Jets team that was sellers at the trade deadline, not buyers. And still, on this depleted Jets team, this was kind of a hell game till what? The third quarter, late in the third quarter, when the Ravens finally started pulling away. Because at halftime, this was 7-3, Ravens trailing. And it was just like, oh no, is this where the streak ends? Is this where all of a sudden the bad Ravens that we saw without Lamar Jackson just start losing these kind of dumb games? Again, they end up winning by 13, but this game did not instill enough confidence in me to uh really put any stock behind what the Baltimore Ravens are. This is a weird season. Also, shout out Card Games who said uh, gotta go. See you on Wednesday. We'll see you on Wednesday. Again, we're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. West Coast time. So adjust accordingly. We talked about that game. Casino kind of talked about his Patriots, again, number one seed. We talked about that game. Let's move on to the Green Bay Packers winning 23-6 against the Minnesota Vikings. The story coming out of this one is JJ McCarthy, 9, right? He wants to be called 9. 12 of 19, 87 yards, 63% completion percentage, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked 5 times, and a quarterback rating of 34. What in the hell happened to this this Vikings team where, again, you get rid of Sam Darnold, you see something in JJ McCarthy, and so far in his NFL career, he has played a quarter of good football. Not a game, not a half, a quarter of good football. It was that one Monday night game where it came back and win. Even Carson Wentz has looked better on this Vikings team than JJ McCarthy. And yet here we are just watching JJ McCarthy slowly take this Vikings team that was 14 wins last year. Well, they have 4. So this Vikings team, the only thing they changed really was the quarterback, and they are 10 wins less than they were last season with 6 games to go. So again, I don't know what this coaching staff, what McConnell saw in McCarthy and said, let's strap the franchise to this guy and just let Sam Darnold walk. And again, let Sam Darnold not only walk, but sign a super reasonable contract we could have easily offered him instead of letting him go to Seattle, where now Seattle is one of the best teams in the NFC, paired with that defense. And now this Vikings team is clearly the worst team in the NFC North and just floundering, especially in this game where JJ McCarthy, those 2 interceptions were bad. They were bad. He gives himself a nickname, which again I've never liked. And Justin Jefferson targeted 6 times, caught 4 balls, 48 yards. I'm waiting for, again, it won't happen because Minnesota doesn't have the same media that Philadelphia does, but I'm waiting for the Jefferson meltdown a la AJ Brown, which honestly I think started. The seeds were planted 2 weeks ago, so can't wait for that to finally blow up. Yeah, this is great to be a Vikings fan. As far as the Packers, we had it said in the comments earlier, which is up. I'll even find it if I can. Maybe I can't find it. But yeah, as far as the Packers go, they just are inconsistent. Oh, here it is. And that's what it says. Packers are so inconsistent. That's what it is. It's just when it comes to the Packers, you just don't know what game you're going to get out of them. They kind of feel like a less I don't know, a less predictable Eagles team where it's just, they're going to win the game or it's going to be a close loss. You know what they're going to try to do. And then they kind of just sputter through the game. You look afterwards and you're just like, yeah, Wilson had a pretty okay game. Love had a pretty okay game. And then they just win. Their defense is really good. Their defense is the lead. It's sixth in the league right now in total defense. Their offense, to me, leaves less to be desired. Again, they don't really have a number one wide receiver because all their wide receivers are what is it? All their wide receivers are hurt. Their tight end is hurt. So again, this might just be a product of all their starting weapons being hurt. But again, they're still winning. I just don't think they're a legitimate threat. Once if the playoffs started today, I wouldn't pick the Packers really over anybody who would get in the playoffs. But that's just me. Next up, let's move to Jacksonville beat the Cardinals. We kind of talked about that game. Browns beat the Raiders in the first start ever of Shador Sanders, who went 11 of 20, 209 yards, 55% completion percentage, one touchdown, one interception. He had that one throw in this game. I'm sure everybody who follows sports or is currently what is it is currently a fan of the NFL has seen, I don't know, 9 million times already on every social media. The NFL loved pumping out this clip because they knew that people would be losing their minds over it one way or the other. So go check out that one clip of him from this game where he throws the ball really far and his guy catches it. And then also his first touchdown, which he throws 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and then his running back does, or his running back or wide receiver runs into the house. Outside of that, nothing much to report about this game. You can talk about, again, Casino is the Shador Sanders hater. I just kind of don't care. Like, I don't think he'll do anything on the Browns. I think he is kind of annoying, but also the Browns need they need something, right? So maybe it is kind of this annoying guy who's like kind of good, or maybe he's bad. I don't know. Again, it was the Raiders. They cleaned house pretty much after this game, firing Chip Kelly. I'm sure more firings are coming after, they finish the season with 2 wins, but again, Geno Smith, I don't know how he's still a starter in this league, even though this game he wasn't bad in. But yeah, Raiders, hot mess, get proving that loss, or making everybody in Las Vegas super proud to support this team. And finally, let's talk about my team losing 24-21 against the Dallas Cowboys in a game. Again, I talked to Casino about earlier in this podcast where it was just, this was the game where I could I could see the writing on the wall. The way the game was going, the attitude on the field, just how the game felt. Again, the Eagles did not lose this game because of penalties, but also when you look at this game, penalties you can take away and just be like, yeah, it's a little weird. It's a little weird how this game took place in Dallas, and the Eagles got twice the amount of penalties called on them they have in any game this season. And yeah, some of them are ticky tacky, and apparently holding doesn't exist when you're a Dallas Cowboy, or pass interference. Also, every Cowboys wide receiver is just allowed to push off and or play with a face mask and all that kind of stuff. Again, not why the Eagles lost, but definitely contributed. It's not a non-factor. And while I was watching it, it was infuriating. But this game was mostly due to the Eagles turning it over. Hurts, I actually thought, I don't know why Hurts is getting a lot of shit in this game. He was 27 for 39, 289, 69% completion percentage. Nice. One touchdown, zero interceptions. He took one sack. That was brutal. That was a brutal sack. But again, it was a 99 quarterback rating. And then Dak Prescott on the other side, this is where it's deceiving. 23 for 36, 354, 63% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a 103 quarterback rating. He was also sacked one time. That is very misleading because if you watch that game, that one interception could have been 3, maybe 4 interceptions. He had 2 just full on interceptions hit guys in the hands that were just dropped. And again, they weren't like those things where you see, oh, like everybody says with the Justin Herbert, where it's just like his interceptions are actually they're bouncing off people's hands and they're going everywhere. He's actually not throwing bad balls. In this Eagles Cowboy game, Dak had two potential interceptions in the middle of like three Eagles defenders, and they hit Eagles defenders in the hands and just dropped. That also is what happened week one opening of the season. Literally, the stats should read Dak Prescott had two touchdowns, like seven interceptions in the two Eagles games this season. But again, the football gods did not want it to be so because he had a lot of dropped interceptions. He also had a lot of dropped receptions from CeeDee Lamb. And the one thing I will say that me and Casino completely got wrong is George Pickens on this team just works. I think he's honestly a better wide receiver on this team than CeeDee Lamb because CeeDee Lamb has just developed this dropitis where, especially in the big games, he just doesn't drop one or two balls. He in this game felt like he dropped 5 to 7 really important catches that hit him just right in the hands and then he dropped them. I mean, there was that uh one pass in the end zone that just hit him right in the breadbasket and he just full on dropped it. Like yes, he was being tackled from behind, but again, the ball hit him in the stomach. He had both hands on it and it just pops out. I felt like he had that same catch animation like we were playing Madden, where it's just like, why does my wide receiver keep doing this one animation that lets him drop the ball? That was CeeDee Lamb for, I mean, again, 5 to 7 catches in this game. So George Pickens, again, Casino and I were like, this is not going to work in Dallas when he got traded. And we were wrong. It completely works. And he is now, I think, the best wide receiver on this team because in this game, 9 receptions, 146 yards, one touchdown. The only catch CeeDee Lamb made that was over 10 yards was the one catch where he just has his hand on, I think it was Cooper DeJean's face mask for 5 yards down the field. Of course, it's not called OPI. This game took place in Dallas, but that was the one catch he made that was like, oh, that was a good catch. Every other catch was, again, mostly him dropping it. But really, the Eagles lost this game twofold. One, because they had two fumbles. The Saquon one, again, that was just kind of a busted play. Saquon has not been good this season. Definitely was not good in this game. But then the dumbest fumble you're ever going to see is the Eagles punt returner or kick returner taking the ball at the 1 yard line instead of letting it bounce into the end zone. And then what is it? Trying to do a bunch of moves at the 5 and just fumbling because he got lit up. That guy's name is Xavier Gibson. He should be cut today because not only, again, the fumbling is not the issue. It's a one possession game. All you guys need to do is run out the clock. All the game is now at that point is field position, right? Because the Cowboys have the best kicker in the league who can usually hit kicks from 60 plus. So now you're in a one score game. You've lost all momentum. Why are you trying to make some magic happen at the 1 yard line? That's just, again, I don't care if you fumble. People fumble all the time. Again, in key moments, it's not ideal, but it's not one of those things where if you fumble, you should be immediately cut because that's unrealistic. He should be cut because he's the kick returner. He has no lane. There's nothing he's seeing where he goes, oh, maybe I can return this for a big gain. And again, with the new kickoff rules, if the kick goes into the end zone, you're put at like the 30. So why? So you're thinking in that moment at the 1 yard line when you're about to field the ball that you can make it 30 plus yards in this return when you have no open lane. That's why you should be cut as a kick returner because again, that's just the opposite of ball knowledge. You just don't know ball if you think that in that moment you're somehow going to do something more beneficial than starting 29 yards from where you're fielding the ball. Just asinine. That's honestly, that's the one play that lost them the game. Because when that happened, the little momentum they had completely vanished as Cowboys were set up to immediately score, which they did. So that right there, oh Lord, he should have been cut. He shouldn't have been allowed on the plane ride home. They should have given him bus fare and been like, "We'll see you in Philadelphia, but just not at our facility ever again." And then outside of that, again, I hate to just pull up tweets of myself, but I because I'm not really a social media guy, but this game is just one of those ones where, again, it's so obvious what the problem is for Philadelphia. It's so obvious, and everybody just saying, what is it? That it's just like, oh, it's actually, well, Hurts is bad. And it's actually all these other things. It's like the clearest definition of what is wrong with the Eagles is they have bad play calling. They have a bad offensive coordinator. That's it. Full stop. They have a bad scheme. Their scheme is predictable. We've been saying this. We're in week what? Going into week 14. We've been saying this for 13 weeks at this point. When is everybody just going to realize that's the issue and do something about it? And again, log it onto X right now. All reporters in Philadelphia are saying it. And as of an hour ago, this by Eagles Nation, Nick Sirianni says Kevin Patullo will remain the Eagles offensive coordinator. He says he thinks Kevin did a good job yesterday. He added he hasn't even considered switching play caller duties. Then you're an idiot. Then you're just dumb. If you don't think, again, the way you got to your first Super Bowl was you realized there was an issue with the play calling and then mixed it up behind the scenes to switch up the play calling. So, Nick Sirianni, again, you're a Super Bowl winning head coach. You have one of the best winning percentages in NFL history, right? You have one of the best GMs in all of football, one of the best owners in all of football, one of the best teams currently, just roster wise, in the NFL. The one glaring issue of this is you have an offensive coordinator who's never been an offensive coordinator, and before week one of this NFL season, had never called an offensive play. So again, this is, you can say the Eagles Cowboys rivalry thing. I honestly don't give a shit. Like, I think the Cowboys, again, I pick the Eagles to lose in Dallas every year. They always split with the Cowboys. I don't care that they lost to the Cowboys yesterday. The Cowboys are an irrelevant team for the past 30 years and will continue to be as long as Dak Prescott is their quarterback, Jerry Jones is their owner, all that kind of stuff. That this is not a shit on Dallas thing. Great job winning your Super Bowl yesterday. That was your Super Bowl because you have a 10% chance of making the playoffs, which isn't going to happen. So that I don't care about. Dallas is irrelevant. What is relevant is you're currently, if you would have won this game, you're the number one seed in the NFC. You lose the game on Friday, which is very possible at this moment because you're playing a very good, very underrated, very hungry Bears team, right? Yes, that game's going to be in Philadelphia outside, but the Bears play in Chicago outside. So it's not like you're going to have a weather advantage, right? This isn't like you're playing the Rams last year where it's like, oh, they don't play outside in the cold. So there's going to be real no home field advantage because, again, if you come into this game and you go 3-and-out and you just have a shit offensive start to the game, this crowd is going to turn on you immediately. Immediately, because all the talk during the second half of this game and to today until Friday is just going to be about the offensive identity of this team. So, what I said on Twitter, I think perfectly just encapsulates what is the issue, because the question was asked by Barstool Philly, what's your honest thoughts about the Eagles after they blew a 21-0 lead and lost to the Cowboys? I said word for word, open up the passing game, slants and crossers over the middle, Tank and Hurts up the middle, Barkley in space on the outside, motion hard counts. Why did this offense just consist of runs up the middle and then comebacker streaks on the outside? It just makes no sense. And then I said, I've never seen an offensive coordinator who makes adjustments to get away from what's working. Barkley, a couple games ago, had his biggest run on the season on a stretch play to the outside. We never saw that play ran again. This game, AJ is killing the defense on quick slant plays early in the game. Never ran it again after the second quarter. I don't understand an offensive coordinator that when it comes to adjusting during the game, you adjust to plays that You adjust away from plays that worked. I've never in the what? I'm 35 now, in the 20 plus years of me watching the NFL. I've never seen an offense or an offensive identity that when something works, you never run it again. How? How does that happen in the NFL? Please, somebody explain that to me because I'm going to lose my mind, especially when the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles just goes, I don't see an issue with what our offensive identity is. Really, it's a 3rd and 2. The basically you need to get into field goal range to have a shot at winning this game where you were up 21 nothing and all of a sudden it's tied. You need this 3rd and 2. Your play call is to spread everybody out, get AJ one-on-one on an island by himself where he's pressed, and then you don't do a quarterback sneak up the middle, which again, we've seen multiple times, including in this game, is a money play that always works. You are 3rd and 2. You also are not attempting to run the tush push. Again, a play that has a 90% success rate, right? And also, if it's 3rd and 2, you do the tush push and it's 1st and 1, do the tush push again. We saw a Thursday night game this year where you ran the tush push 15 times in a row. Now it's 3rd and 2. Your 2 money plays, the QB draw up the middle with Hurts, not an option, even though you're in the formation where that's always where it works. You spread everybody out and just run right up the middle, including in this game where you saw it work. And then the tush push, which again, the league hates. You are now have been scared to run it, but you still do. And it's a false start every time because again, the officials don't know how to officiate it and blah, 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 blah. But again, you're in 3rd and 2. Your option is instead of Tank up the middle, instead of Barkley to the outside, instead of Hurts up the middle, instead of a quick slant to AJ Brown where you have crossers in the middle and there's just a hodgepodge of a bunch of people and somebody's got to get open. You instead go, oh, hey, let's everybody just run directly into the defender in front of you, give Hurts no time, and we'll just take a sack here. So, in that situation, again, as an offensive coach, you're the scheme is again, oh, all right. I'm done ranting about this. Again, yes, it's frustrating when you watch a game where your team is just penalized abnormally a lot compared to what they have been all season, and it's a home game, and you can get all the conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff. Again, refs are a factor. They just are. Again, you can see reports about the Chiefs, and this is why it annoys me where everybody just goes, oh, well, the refs help the Eagles. It's just like, yeah, no Eagles fan wants the refs help because then you get games like this where you get fucked over by the refs, and then everybody goes, see? Like, this is what happens when you get the refs help. And it's like, nobody was asking for the refs help. I want the refs to be a non-factor in every game. So please leave the shit outside. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about the well, this is, this is this is the one that they took away from you after they gave you the other ones. Like, we didn't want them to give us the other ones. If somebody false starts on a tush push, call it. But again, I've done that rant a million times on this show. The thing that really killed this is what has really killed them all season. Even in the wins, it's just the offense is boring, it's predictable, and there needs to be a change. But there won't be because this organization is so stuck in its ways that, and Nick Sirianni just thinks everything he does is smart. The smartest things Nick Sirianni has ever done during his entire coaching tenure as the Eagles head coach is realize there's a problem and adjust to it, even when they were winning, even when there was a formula that was working. Again, last year, they realized they were too pass happy. So they said, you know what? We just got the best running back in the league. We have the best offensive line in the league. Like, I know we have these wide receivers on the outside, this quarterback we just paid, but we need to run the football more. And it took them to the Super Bowl. This year, the offensive line has been banged up. They're not even close to elite. They might even be good. They have the worst run game coordination in the entire league. Saquon Barkley is a shell of his former self. It's a combination of the line being bad and Saquon Barkley just not being as effective as he was last year or even the years previously in New York. So again, instead of adjusting to that and just becoming this pass to set up the run offense that just gets their your star players in space and just has them make moves. Instead, you just go, well, let's just do nothing. Let's just do the same thing over and over again and we'll just play good defense. Well, yeah, if you need the defense to carry you every game, this is what happens. This is what happens. Your defense gets injured. It's not a very depth-filled defense, especially in the cornerbacks and safety rooms. So, up, we lost one corner, we lost two of our safeties, and now we're just going to get annihilated. Like that's just what happens. So if you have no depth, you don't have an elite O line, and your running back is having a down year. Maybe, and then the passing schemes are awful. Maybe it's time to make some changes. So all of a sudden, you don't slip from the number one seed in the NFC to, let's say, the fourth seed in the NFC, and then you get mollywopped your first playoff game. Like, oh, I don't know. We saw the year after you went to the Super Bowl the first time. And then guess what? You realize promoting in-house with your offensive coordinator was a bad idea. And then you went out and hired an experienced offensive coordinator. And wouldn't you know it, that was the missing ingredient. Like it's just this rinse and repeat of we're smarter than everybody else, but we're going to prove it by making no changes is dumb. The best characteristic of Nick Sirianni, what makes him such an effective coach, is he's realized in the past when he's doing something dumb and adjusted accordingly. So do that. We've seen you do that before. Again, I don't care that they lost to the Cowboys. I thought they were going to lose to the Cowboys at the start of the season when we were doing the season predictions. They always lose to the Cowboys in Dallas, like how Dallas always loses to the Eagles in Philadelphia. This is about a much bigger picture, which is the Super Bowl. I don't care about the week 12 game. This is about getting to the you're already in the playoffs. You have a 99% chance to get in the playoffs. I don't think this team is going to even as bad as they looked yesterday and for the past month. I don't think they have looked as bad where they're going to now lose both games to the Commanders and a game to the Raiders to just completely collapse on the season. Like that's not an option. So what is an option is you're going to go into the playoffs. You still have a shot at the one seed because you have the tiebreaker over every good team in the NFC, especially if you beat the Bears on Friday. And it's just one of those things where you have the tiebreaker over all these good teams. You have the pieces. All you need is to make one change, one adjustment. Bring in Dayball. Bring in Chip Kelly. I don't even at this point bring in Chip Kelly. Bring in Doug Peterson, who I much more like than Chip Kelly. Bring in Frank Reich. Again, these are all guys that are out there. Is there a rule that says you can't hire coaches in week 13? If there is, I haven't heard it, but I'm assuming you can bring him in. So the list goes bring in Doug Peterson, bring in Frank Reich, bring in Chip Kelly in that order. Doug Peterson, Frank Reich, I would say, are interchangeable at this point. Chip Kelly, distant third. And then fourth is give someone else on the staff play calling duties. The one thing you cannot do is just try to weather the storm because, again, we've been doing that for 13 weeks and the problems have still persisted. This has been the Only Sports Podcast. We'll be back on Wednesday where we'll be predicting the shows, and then back on Friday where we'll do the new Super Bowl bubble and review our power rankings. Last week I was supposed to do it, but just scheduling didn't set up. I had a guy that I was waiting on that was supposed to come to the house to fix our garage door. He gave me a window from 1 to 4. He shows up at, so I put the show where I'm going to do it at 1. But then my wife was like, well, you can't do the show because if it's live, then you just have to stop it to go talk to this guy. And then, of course, the guy doesn't show up till 4. So I had that whole window blocked out. And then I was waiting, had the whole show set up, everything. And then, of course, he shows up at 4 and then I can't do it. So We will be back on Friday with the power rankings, and we'll see you on Wednesday where we preview all the show or preview all the games this weekend, talk about Thanksgiving, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see you on Wednesday. This has been the Only Sports Podcast. Adios.